Hey, good morning. Happy Monday, everybody. Sorry about the echo. Still out of my office till the downstairs is done and put back in order. So we're up here in the sanctuary where there can be a little bit of an echo. I wanted to encourage everybody on this Monday to be praying for the folks at Black Hills Kids Camp, campers and leaders and team leaders and junior leaders and just everybody involved. Superintendent Doug, as he's the speaker for the week, just be praying for everybody involved, that God will just do a really powerful work in the lives of these kids, and not just them, but the adults as well. So anyway, running a little late. I'm a little hour behind. I had had a client this morning that I just came from at the gym and just stuff to do. So anyway, we're here. It's 11 o'clock. We are doing our Monday morning Going Deeper live stream. Yesterday, we were talking about anxiety. And one of the things that creates anxiety is worry over money. Always wanting more, having more, thinking we got to get more to be happy. And we were talking about in Matthew 6, where Jesus is comparing, he said, don't be like the pagans who run after these things, right? That's their focus. He said, instead, consider the birds. They don't worry about that kind of stuff. They do what they were created to do, right? They sing and they fly and they sing and they poop on your car, right? That's what birds are created to do. And that's what their focus is. And so they are very carefree in that regard. And so our purpose, right, the reason we were created was to love God and love people. And if that is our focus, then the anxiety that comes from always needing to have more, wanting to get more, finding ways to have more, comparing ourselves with other people who have more, like all the anxiety that comes from that, it loses its grip when that's no longer the focus, but when the kingdom is the focus. And one of the examples that I used was Brenda. She has this down a lot better than I do. She enjoys life a lot more than I do, and she's a lot more content than I am. And one of the examples that I gave was, she has no problem rolling up in her 2008 van with, the paint's all peeling off the front, and there's two handles missing on the sides. It's kind of my fault. It's not a spectacle to behold, It's rough. It's got its problems. But she has no problem pulling that up at the soccer complex or practice or whatever next to the soccer mom in the BMW or the Escalade. She just rolls up like a boss and just gets out, and she's not embarrassed. She's not comparing herself to that. She's not getting on me, why can't you make more money so we can have a car like that? Like none of that. She's just really content. And so this morning in my devotionals, here's where we're going to go a little deeper today. When I was in prayer this morning and in the Word, I just kept thinking about that, like our van versus the BMW that she pulled up beside. And I was just, in my mind, thinking, okay, why are those two, what makes those two vehicles so different? Why is one so coveted, like people want the BMW or the Escalade or whatever, and mine is so, nobody would want that? And I was trying to compare, what's the difference? They both get you from here to there. They both are a safe mode of transportation. They both go the same speed. One may be able to go faster, but not legally. So there's no hindrance there. They both have air conditioning so you don't suffocate. They both have doors that lock. One's just missing some handles, right? They functionally, they do all the same thing. What makes them different? The only thing that makes them different is one has status attached to it and the other does not. Okay? The new BMW may need less repairs here and there, right? But in the grand scheme of it, one has status attached to it and the other one does not. One says, I have achieved more in life than you, and the other does not. One says, I'm a winner in life, and the other does not, at least according to this culture's definition of winning, right? So beyond working and being functional and fulfilling the purpose that a car is supposed to fulfill, the only difference is that one makes you feel more, better, more valuable, higher up in the social order, and one does not. That's it. That's it. One gives you more of a feeling of value in life. The other does not, right? I was thinking about that comparison. And I was reading in 1 Timothy 6, starting with verse 6, where Timothy says, but godliness with contentment is great gain. See, we're always wanting to gain more things and more stuff. But Paul says to Timothy, godliness with contentment, that's the great gain. You want to gain something? Gain that. For we brought nothing into the world, and we can take nothing out of it. But if we have food and clothing, we will be content with that. And I was thinking about that passage in relation to comparing the BMW or the Escalade with my broke, paint peeling, missing handle minivan. And then I was thinking about the bigger thing of life. I'm going somewhere with this, right? So Paul said, if we have food and clothing, we'll be content with that. Godliness with contentment's great gain. You need food, you need clothes, but beyond that, we're going to be content with just that. And I was thinking, just like the van and the BMW, they both have the same purpose. One just gives you more status, more clout. Even in life, once you have your needs met, once you have enough food for you and your family, once you have a safe home to live in for you and your family, and once you have clothes for you and your family, everything above that, functionally, it's not much different. It's just a matter, you didn't see that. You did not see that. Walk past the camera. You didn't see that. It's not take your dog to work day. You didn't see that. But once you have, beyond that, it's just really, functionally, it's all the same. It's just a matter of, of convenience or clout, right? One person has food, but one person has fancy food, right? One person has a safe house, but one person has a fancy safe house, right? Functionally, it's all the same. Once you reach that certain level where your needs are met, everything else is just about clout, convenience, right? If you really think about it. And I was even taking that even a little further. If I'm content with life, right, and I get my identity and my sense of meaning and value in Jesus, then I can enjoy a smaller, less nice house with less bells and whistles just as much as I could enjoy a big old honking giant house, right? And if I get my value and my sense of worth from Jesus, then I can enjoy my 2008 paint peeling, handles missing van just as much as I could the BMW, because I don't need the approval of people. I don't need the clout to fill me up, right? If Jesus is the one filling me up, I don't need the other to fill me up, right? I can enjoy, let's say, Kennywood, just because it's local, and doesn't have, doesn't seem as exciting. I can enjoy Kennywood just as much as I can Disney World or whatever. You know what I mean? Godliness with contentment is great gain, Paul said. If we have food and clothing, we'll be content with that. Everything else is just additives, either to make things convenient or to give more clout. Not in every situation, but generally, right? That's what I want us to think about this week. I'm going to tell you, man, these past few questions, Q&As, have really helped me personally. This is an area that I deal with a lot. You know, we've never had a lot of money, and I've never run after money. You know, just because of my calling, pastoring is not a lucrative business. You know what I mean? But I do see people, just on a personal level, I see people who don't work any harder than I do. Don't put in any more hours than I do. Don't work any harder than I do. But make way more than I do and enjoy way more fancy things than I do. Because they are in a business that has value to it, right? As opposed to ministry, which, you know. And I'm always comparing myself, and I'm always feeling down about myself because I can't give Brenda this when this person, who doesn't work any harder than I do, gives their wife this, this, and this. But then I look at Brenda's life, and she is content with what we have. And this week, you know, in preparing for yesterday's message and preparing for this today, you know, I'm starting to see that a little better. But I am going to have to walk in this and really focus on this and walk in the truth of it, because I know how easy it is to slip back into old mindsets. So I want to leave you with, you know, this passage. Godliness with contentment is great gain, for we brought nothing into the world and we can take nothing out of it. But if we have food and clothing, we will be content with that. I encourage you today to read those verses, 1 Timothy 6 through 8, but keep on going. Go down to verse 10. The next two verses are kind of a hard hitter, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I don't have a direct question for you. I'd love to just read what you have to say, all right? Love you guys. Have a great week, and let's change our focus. See you when we see you. Bye-bye.